Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about Coach Thibs. Is he top 3 all-time Knick coach? A lot of you guys don't like Coach Thibs. We'll see how the Coach Thibs hives feel about this show today. Of course, Jalen Brunson returns. Our captain is back, and he looks like he looks the part. I mean, he didn't have the greatest game, but we'll talk about it. Okay. OG Anunoby, his prowess once again continues. I mean, the man has been balling out of his mind. We'll talk about that. The minutes, salute to the minutes police. The minutes are up just a little bit. Okay. Then we'll talk about power rankings, of course, Knick of the week, word on the street, and no smoke of the week. But we'll talk about all of that and more on This Week Inside the Knicks. Welcome to This Week Inside the Knicks. I am your host, Karan Pierre, the Objective Fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, y'all. Man, listen, man. What a week. We got Captain back, right? Make sure my soundboard is good. We got Captain back. I'm happy that the Knicks were able to sort of weather the storm. A lot of people were feeling some type of way. And I'm glad that Knicks Nation, we did not allow the 0-8 against elite teams narrative to take over as I set up my soundboard in the back. But I'm happy, this week to me wasn't the worst week that we could possibly have. This week was pretty good. But definitely better than what it could have been without Cap. Cap came back against Phoenix. We went 3-1 during this stretch. Of course, we'll be talking about all the topics between April 1st to the 6th. So we went 3-1 with wins against the Suns, the Hawks, and the 76ers. Of course, we took that loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And like I said, normally under normal circumstances, that one loss would have just put a huge overcast over the week. But I do got to give a big time salute to some of the people in the building. New York City, salute to you, Darlene. I see you. Salute to you. Thank you for checking me out. Salute to Maxine. And Knicks will be champs 25-26. Crime's dad. Knick on the week. Word on the street. Yes. Oh, thank you, Maxine, for your approval on the thumbnail. You are the executive producer of this show. I appreciate you, Maxine. Salute to you. Another good thing, too, and this is something that I said before, the Knicks, we needed to go at least 500 without Cap. The Knicks turned around and went 9-6 without Cap. Big time New York City salute to the Knicks, man, doing their thing. Real quickly, before we begin, we are doing a playoff watch party for Game 1. Okay, Game 1 of the playoffs is going down. We still don't know the date of the game because the NBA hasn't released the schedule yet. I'm pretty sure probably by the next podcast, we will have an idea when we play, I think, because the season ends on the 13th. So we're going to be getting together. It's going to be either the 19th or the 20th. I do have the RSVP form in the description, and we're going to be meeting up at Q Bar or Q Lounge. So I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. We'll be meeting up at Q Lounge. So definitely click the link if you're interested in watching the game with us. Oh, by the way, early salute to still Knicks fans in the house, y'all. Definitely all you guys know, because we pretty much got the same chats. But if you hadn't already, you got to subscribe to Still Knicks fans. That's our family right there. Salute to Still Knicks fans. Glad to have you in the building early. Okay, cool. Even though I'm late. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm late, but, crazy afternoon. My son's still under the weather. His 6th day in a row not going to school. So we got to make do what we got to make do. So let me jump into research. I think I'm done with all the announcements. Let's jump into research mode real quickly. Now, of course, if you are new to the blog, right, we have a website called thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, and this pretty much will give you all the resources that we're going to be talking about, all this news stories and more that we don't get a chance to talk to, all you got to do is go to episode 23. You click on that, bam, you're going to see all of the things that we'll be discussing today. And we're going to start off with some special highlights, right? So I do want to start with, no, you know what? I'm not going to start there. I'm going to start here. OG Anunoby, and I'm going to talk more about OG Anunoby as this pod proceeds. Definitely, I want to give a big time salute for OG Anunoby, becoming the first player in franchise history to score 20 points on 60% true shooting in 8 straight games. Listen, y'all, when I get to comment of the week, I'm going to be addressing OG. OG is going to be the star of today's show, just to let you know, just to give you guys fair warning. But OG Anunoby, I mean, he's been balling out of control. And what makes it official for me is that he's doing it efficiently from the field, right? I mean, he's attacking the basket with so much gusto, but I do want to start there. I do got more. Like I said, I'll be touching on OG Anunoby quite a lot on this show. And of course, I got to give a big time salute. First off, once a Knick, always a Knick, New York City salute to Carmelo Anthony, right? He heading into the Hall of Fame, right? And first ballot. I didn't think he would get in on the first ballot only because they always I felt like they gave Melo some, I don't want to say, yeah, okay, I'm going to say it. They slight him a little bit because he didn't win a championship and he's not on LeBron James and D-Wade's level. So I thought that they made it give it to him on the second attempt, but no, he got in there, man. Salute to Melo, man. Once in the goal, he's a Knick. You already know how we get down. Number 7, you know, Kings County, stand up. You already know how it goes. He started in Kings County first before he moved to Baltimore. And this is a hell of an impressive feat for me about Carmelo Anthony becoming a Hall of Famer. Well-deserving to me. In the modern era of basketball, Carmelo Anthony is probably the top 5 scorer. Not that when you look at career point per game average, I'm just talking about on the floor. Bucket getter, the way he gets his buckets, to me, I mean, incredible. Just tough to guard. I mean, he can post you up. I mean, he was so well-rounded in his offensive game. He could post you low, mid-post, mid-range, one dribble pull-up. I mean, amazing. Off the dribble, he had that little spin move that he liked to do. Carmelo Anthony, to me, is definitely one of the greatest scorers in the league. And it's not just about the stats, it's just about the way the game is being played. And this is why watching the games, to me, always will count a lot more than just looking at stats and box scores. So we got to give a big time salute to Melo. And then, of course, this will also raise another question, right? And right here, should Carmelo Anthony's jersey be retired by the Knicks? It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I mean, I wasn't going to go there. I was going to stay away from this, but me and my man Ill Will from the Ville, I was kind of ranking on him, joking on him a little bit about Jason Collins getting his jersey retired by the Brooklyn Nets, right? And no, I'm not trying to shade Jason Collins. He was a solid player, but he wasn't like an all-star caliber player, right? And they retired his jersey. Fair enough. If he can get his jersey retired by Brooklyn, I don't think it's a debate. I think that they should do it the end of this season. I'm not sure how long it usually takes, but Melo needs to get his jersey retired. I don't think that that's a debate, especially because we also know that Denver, he's not going to get no love from the Nuggets. Jokic has his number, right? Jokic has his number. So more than likely, he won't get retired from the Nuggets. He's a Hall of Famer. He's top 75 all time. He is one of the few All-NBA, All-Star players that wanted to come to New York at a time where New York, we were in the doldrums, and he came and he took us to 54 wins. And we're going to talk about 50 wins in a second on this show. But, man, salute to Carmelo Anthony, man. I just, Brooklyn stand up. The entire New York City stand up. We got to give a big time salute to Carmelo Anthony. As far as, let's see where I want to go next. I want to talk about the G League for a second. I know we don't talk about the G League at all, I don't really pay attention to G League like that. I watch it here and there. I didn't get a chance to go to a game, but next year I'm gonna go for sure, guaranteed. I just was really busy, and the times the games took place, I just couldn't make it. But anyway, could this be a prelude of what's to come for our beloved Knicks? Right, Westchester Knicks general manager Ryan Borges has been named the 24-25 G League Basketball Executive of the Year, as selected by his peers. Borges is the first Westchester exec to win the award, and they had a 22-12 record and became the first to win back-to-back winter showcases. So we got to give a big-time salute to the G League. I mean, I felt like they had a super team when Kolick went down there, and they went and they won that winter showcase. But could this be a prelude to come? I think that our general manager, Leon Rose, deserves to be GM of the year. I mean, the job that he's done, I don't think you could say anyone has done a better job, beginning in the offseason to now, if you ask me. I mean, yeah, the Lakers did the Luka trade, but that came later on in the year. It was one deal. I mean, yeah, there were some good moves that were made, but at the same time, when you look at all of the top teams, Cleveland pretty much has the same team, even though they did do the DeAndre Hunter trade. Boston has the same team. OKC has the same team, though they did sign Isaiah Hartenstein. Who else is in the top? The Houston Rockets pretty much have the same team. Not a lot of movements and trades to get them anywhere. So I think you have to give it to Leon Rose when you look at the top three teams on either conference. To me, the Knicks have made the most moves, and these moves have proven to be, beneficial to the franchise. So let me also I'm gonna give another salute to Westchester. Like I said, I know I don't spend too much time on the Westchester Knicks, but also the head coach, Desanya Diop. Salute to Desanya Diop. And he won the pretty much the head coach. And man, I think that it's a good look seeing that the Westchester Knicks get some honors, right? And so yeah, so that's all I'm gonna talk about with the Westchester Knicks. Let me move forward. I'm moving a little fast. By the way, before I continue, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. Like the video so more cool Knicks fans could find this content, right? And also, if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. Let me see what you guys talking about in the chat before I move on. Still Knick fan says, retire Melo's jersey. Big facts. Oh, salute to On Dios Supermod in the building. Let me see. Yuri Selma, not to mention, this says the Knicks long-term sustainable winning. Yes, you talking about Leon Rose. Yeah, I agree with that. They're going to give Lakers Pelinka because he got Luka. Nah, I mean, yes, the Luka trade, that's the most explosive, surprising, biggest trade all year. But the Lakers are not a top three team. Last time I checked, are they? I don't think they're a top three team. So to me, I'm going with the team that has more success. And that to me has been the Knicks. The team that made the most moves and has the most success. To me, that GM would deserve it over anybody else. Let me see what else you guys talking about in the chat before I move forward. Okay, cool. Let me jump on. I think I got one more thing to announce. Let me see. Oh, Jalen Brunson, he finished in the top 12 for Teammate of the Year. And to be honest, I think that it's hard to not give Jalen Brunson the Teammate of the Year when he sacrificed the most out of everybody on this list. I mean, he gave up over $100 million. So I don't know how he's not the Teammate of the Year when literally right after that, right before that, OG Anunoby signed. And then you was able to see some of the other moves that came from Jalen Brunson taking less. And I do got a video that I'm working on that I got to figure out when I'm going to do it. But I'm going to talk about why the move that Leon Rose made, right? And why it's a genius move. And it's just a calculated move. But all of these moves are set up by Jalen Brunson taking less. But at least he finished in the top 12, even though he didn't get acknowledged. And see if there's anything else. Oh, yeah, the Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Both OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns were finalists, but they didn't get the award. That's all right. We're getting acknowledged for, good play. Can't be mad about that. And that's all my special highlights. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to jump into some of these hot topics. And of course, if you just joined, we're going to be talking about these topics. Coach Thibs, top three, is he top three all-time Knick coach? Jalen Brunson, his return, OG Anunoby's his prowess continues. We're going to be talking about OG Anunoby quite a bit today. Too many minutes from Coach Thibs and power rankings and much more. So I'm just running through some topics and giving my take and just pretty much breaking down the week from the 1st to the 6th. That's what we're doing today. Okay, cool. So I'm going to start with I think honestly, yo, this to me matters so much that I don't think a lot of people will take heed to it. And salute to Mike Vaccaro for highlighting it. The Knicks getting the 50 wins. To me, the 50 win mark has always been a level of success that, you know, shows you're one of the better teams in the league. And then by the Knicks getting to the 50 win mark for the second time, right? Second season in a row. First time it's been done since 1995, 30 years. So salute to Leon Rose, Coach Thibs. They're all doing a fantastic job. Knicks are on the right path. And, you know, you can't scoff at it. And to be honest, when you look at where we are, we played 78 games and we got to the 50 game mark. Last year, it took us all 82 to get there. So now we're looking to finish over the 50. Honestly, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something that may not be that shocking. The Knicks could win all 4 games. I see a world where the Knicks win all 4 games. You know, Brunson's playing at least 4 of the next 5. Or 3 of the next 4, sorry. Because we already played that 5th game in Phoenix. I see a world where the Knicks win out. I don't think Boston's going to play their team. You got the Detroit Pistons. We owe them. It's kind of a revenge game. I think that game might have a little spunk to it. But if the Knicks decide that, hey, you know, we already got our spot, we don't want to go hard, then I could see the Knicks, you know, not going for the win against Detroit. So that Detroit game could probably be a loss. Cleveland Cavaliers, same thing. I don't think that I think they're taking the foot off the gas. They already secured the first seed, just like OKC. You see them losing games. I just think teams have their foot off the gas right now. And then, of course, the Brooklyn Nets. I've never put money on the Brooklyn Nets to do anything. I'm sorry. I think that if we go up against the Brooklyn Nets, we could always beat them. So a world can exist. That Detroit game is kind of, it could go either way because Detroit's going to be going hard. But then again, I know Cade Cunningham has been struggling with some injuries. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, like I said, that Detroit game could go either way. The Knicks could take their foot off the gas, or maybe, you know, Indiana, you know, we lose to Boston and now Indiana continues to win. And now we're looking for that final win, and that pushes the Knicks forward. So, yeah, the 50 game mark to me is very, very important. Very, very pivotal. It shows success. It takes us back to the 90s Knicks. I believe in my heart, mind, body, and soul that we are on the brink of another 90s level run. And I think this time it will lead to a championship. And I'll touch a little bit more on that in a second when we get the flagship, talking about Coach Thibs. Now, here's another thing, too, I want to touch on. This right here. I think this right here is very important. How the Knicks should handle Kevin Durant trade flirtation that's already begun. We can't fall for the hype, y'all. We can't fall for the hype. Salute to KD. You know, he is top 75. To me, he's the greatest offensive weapon of all times in terms of, and the only reason why I say this is because I feel if you take all of the best scorers and you put them in a one-on-one tournament, I think he wins the tournament. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. I just think that if you put a guy that's too big, he's going to dribble and go around him. If you put a guy that's small, he's going to shoot right over the top. I mean, he's a dangerous weapon. However, he is 37 years old. We've seen, okay, teams sacrifice and give up the world to go get KD and it not work. Whether it was the Nets trading up all of their franchise guys to make moves, to make space, to make sure they can sign KD. Right, I shouldn't say franchise guys. I'm going to say they're young guys, rather. Allen, Dinwiddie, LeVert, right? Giving up all of those guys to try to make room for this guy here. We've seen the Phoenix Suns trade their entire team, got a team that went to the finals, trade a lot of young pieces, Mikal Bridges, right? And hasn't really done them nothing. And now 2 years later, they find themselves in a situation where they have to move on because they're a second apron team and they're on the verge of missing the playoffs. Could you imagine a second apron team on the verge of missing the playoffs? So I think that right now, KD is just a bad idea. It's not because he's not great. It's not because he's not top 75. It's not because he's not all of that and he can't still produce. It's really the money and the finances. We're headed into an NBA recession. You can't afford to trade for a guy of his magnitude and you're going to have to butcher your team. You might have to give up an OG Anunoby, right? And a Mikal Bridges salary-wise, right? Because I think OG's making, what, 36, 37 million, right? He's making about 55 million. So you're going to have to give up multiple pieces to get him. And why would you gut what you have for a guy like this who hasn't shown the success? Remember, when he went to Golden State, they signed him, okay? And also, KD said he rejected trades because he didn't want to gut teams. That's one of the reasons why he said he didn't want to get traded during the deadline. So, okay, another little controversy. Just a hint towards Coach Thibs. Like Coach Thibs and OG Anunoby will be the star of these shows. This show, we're going to be talking about them a lot. But Coach Thibs, takes Josh Hart's tantrum in stride, a no-win situation. So basically what they're talking about is the game that was against Atlanta, where Josh Hart, he's flirting with a triple-double. We were up big. Do you take Josh Hart out the game? Then all of a sudden, he brings Josh Hart back in, or he leaves him out to the last 2 minutes, and Josh Hart is out there trying to find a rebound. And I'm like, yo, and I put this inside of the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. By the way, salute to everybody from the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server in the chat. I said, hey man, look, he needs to come out the game. What's he trying to get, a rebound? He's trying to chase a triple-double. That's not what we do in New York, man. Especially the way Josh Hart gets the triple-doubles is so effortless. It's so, like, within the flow of the game, right? Josh Hart, to me, plays better when he doesn't think about what he's going to do next. When he's not thinking about, okay, I need to get this rebound. It's just like he just plays in the flow of the game. He's just flying around, putting himself in positions to make plays, whether it be in transition to grab rebounds. It has to come naturally. And Josh Hart says, Coach Thibs says, obviously for me, that's a no-win situation because if I leave him in, he's going to be upset about that. And if I take him out, he's going to be upset about that. Yeah, you don't know what Josh Hart you're going to get, right? So Thibs try to, be flexible and leave him in the game so he can get it. But once it got to that 2-minute mark, I was like, yeah, this is a little bit too much. This is a little bit too much. Let me see you guys talking about in the chat before I move on, man. Salute to the chat. I do appreciate you guys rocking with me. Even though this is not the normal time, next week we should be returning to our afternoon slot. Normally this show's the afternoon, noon slot, 12 o'clock. But today, I was a little bit late. Let me see what you guys talking about. KD Yuck ruins basketball moving from one team to another. Facts. And he doesn't even win most of the time. He only won one time. Okay? He only won one time. That was when he went to Golden State as a free agent. Not trade. Free agent. Big difference. Why give him credit if he comes here? We don't need him. Facts. KD hurt a lot. Not what we need. Fact. And he's getting older. Eventually, he's going to slow down. Right? Even LeBron, you see LeBron hasn't been the most durable the last 5 years. He's been missing a lot more time than we're accustomed to seeing LeBron miss. So I wouldn't even take a chance. Still, Knicks fans say I'm going to stay away from KD talks, to be fair, because everybody knows I can't be impartial. I can't stand KD. Salute to you, still Knicks fans. Oh, man. Okay. Just say no to the KD trade. Okay. I didn't even do a poll on that because I think we talked about this before. This whole trade KD thing came up during the offseason, and none of you guys were feeling it. So I said, yeah, let's not even go back there. Melo ruined his team whenever possible. He is all about himself. Wow, you cringe when you hear his name in the same sentence? I can't say that Melo ruined the Knicks. I think Phil Jackson ruined the Knicks. I can't say he ruined Denver. I mean, they went to the finals. They had a really good team. He was a young player, wasn't calling no shots. George Karl, if anybody knows about George Karl, he runs a tight ship. So Melo was not controlling nothing in Denver. Yeah. That was, George Karl was running that show. Matter of fact, go ask Kenya Martin about it. He'll tell you all about it. I disagree. I don't think Melo ruined the Knicks. That was definitely Phil Jackson. He definitely ruined the Knicks trying to make this New York Bulls, New York Lakers. We're going to run triangle, right? Let Mike Woodson walk. Even though Mike Woodson, he did have a bad year, but I mean, the team kind of fell off. A lot of injuries. All of the veterans we had left. Feel, coming in with an old school mindset. Just saying. That wasn't on Melo Crimes, Dad. I can't ride with you on that one. Okay. Wow. He said my most hated player in basketball history is Melo. All right. We're just going to leave that alone. Salute to JJ. JJ out of Brooklyn. Let me see. KD still had an amazing efficiency this season. No, JJ. KD is not about his performance. It's definitely not about his performance. Okay. It's about more so him, costing the money he costs. Then when you don't win a championship, after you move to 2-3 teams, I'm not taking that risk. I'm sorry. I'm not taking that risk. But before I continue, I do want to show you guys a cool feature. So if you guys are on thisweekinsidethenix.com, one of the cool things we got here is I have access or links to discounted Knicks merch, right? And this is some of the hats that I have on the shelf, but this is also some of the hats that are just like custom, from brands that are not like the top of the line brands like 5950 or New Era, right? These are, I like the independent brands, right? And some of these hats here represent these brands. You got the Z hats, right? You can check it out. And now, of course, like I said, I got the stuff, the Liz stuff. This hat right here, to me, is still the most fire hat. Might have to wear this on the next show right here, right? All of the hats you see on here, you can get them, links to them for a discounted price, right? I even got the Melo jersey on here, the Hardwood Classic, if you want to cop this because he's a Hall of Fame now, right? Discounted link. So all you got to do is go to discounted official Knicks merch on the website, and you'll be able to get all access to all of these things, hats, jerseys, all types of stuff. So go check it out. Now let me get back to where we were at. So we talked about KD. Let me see what time is it. You know what? I'm gonna jump into the OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson before I continue the hot topics. And if you just joined, just to let you know, we talking about a bunch of things. Coach Thibs, top 3. Is he top 3 coach all time? Right. I'm getting ready to jump in Brunson and OG right now. And then if we have time, we'll talk about the too many minutes with Coach Thibs. And like I said, this is going to be an OG Anunoby and Coach Thibs show. So we're going to be talking about them two a lot. Now, OG Anunoby, the man has been balling. What more could we say? Now, he had some hype initially, and I had to go back on this because I didn't remember this at the time. OG Anunoby, he was highly regarded, but he got an injury, and that's what pushed him back. He was a 23rd pick in the draft. They saying here that he's not Kawhi Leonard, but he's finally a dynamic scorer. I'm gonna say that I think that OG Anunoby, the only thing that separates him from Kawhi is probably the hands. Kawhi got some huge hands, and also the ball handling. I think Kawhi is a better ball handler and does a better job of setting up his shots in the mid-range off the dribble. Even Walt Clyde said it the last time we played. He said, well, look at Kawhi. He's worked on his handle. No, Kawhi was a good ball handler because he got them big Jordan hands. It's like Jordan. You see, Jordan don't have to do all the flashy crossovers, but because he has such great ball control because he has big hands, it's easy for those guys to, manipulate off the dribble because they can get the ball to go where they want it to go. So, yeah, Kawhi has always had that in his bag. I would say that's the one difference between Kawhi and OG, but everything else, the physicality, the athleticism, right? Of course, well, Kawhi, his athleticism has been diminished since the injuries. But, when Kawhi was that dude in San Antonio, that's what OG Anunoby is to me right now. I think that this is the real deal. I think that OG Anunoby is not, just streaking. Now, he also had 2 times in his career back in, let me pull it up. He had 2 times in his career where he was averaging over 17 points a game, right? Or about 17. I would say, okay, 16.8, you round up to 17, okay? And he played 67 games. This was the year where he actually was a candidate for defensive player of the year, right? And also right here, he averaged 17, but he only played 43 games. This is when he got hurt in 2021. And I think this was also the championship year was 2019. Bottom line is we've seen OG Anunoby 16, 17. Now he's up to 18 because of the run that he was on. But before this run, he was around 17. So OG Anunoby averaging 17 is not nothing new. Now him getting to 18 and 20, that's some new stuff. He's going into some new charted territory that we hadn't seen from him before. And man, I'm telling you right now, like SNY says here, OG Anunoby, he might put us over the top in the playoffs, man. Like to get like far into the playoffs. Like if OG Anunoby can ball like this against Boston, and that's an if, right? Because we know there's no direct correlation between regular season success and postseason success. But two things about the Boston matchup that OG Anunoby really, really, I think he matters the most in, and he helps us in these areas, is one, guarding Jason Tatum one-on-one. When you don't have to help on Jason Tatum, that makes everything easy. That makes everything crisp because Jason Tatum, he's a problem. And one of the things I noticed, the one game we played against Boston when OG wasn't there and Mikal got the assignment, we found ourselves double teaming Tatum on the perimeter. If you have to double Tatum on the perimeter, you're cooked because he's been passing the ball well too. I think he might be career high in assists too, or this is one of his better assist careers in his career. And guess what? 80% of his assists are 3-point shots. So, and we know the Knicks struggle with 3-point defense. So him guarding Tatum one-on-one, very important. Last night, and like I said, even though it's regular season, he showed that he has the capability and the ability to guard, right? And play defense on the best opponent while still scoring. That is very difficult to do. In today's NBA, you don't really see nobody do that. No one's guarding the opposing team best player and leading the team in scoring. That's something that you don't see. And he's been doing it during this stretch, right? And when I get to the comment of the week, it has to do with OG. I'm going to unpack some more things about it, but this brother just continues to ball. I mean, he just, to me, it's like, it's really impressive, man. He's looking like the OG that I possibly thought, because we kind of talked about this before, back like in the level-headed Knicks talk days. I said, yo, OG might be the third option on this team, right? He might be the third option. And then on the Knicks call-up show, Mike from PA, salute to Mike from PA, right? I'm not sure if you in the chat, Mike. I think I did see you early, but salute to Mike. Mike said that OG might have to be the second option. OG might have to be the second option on this team. And nobody at the time was like, whoa, this was like in the middle of him getting, 20-point games, right? But I'm telling you right now, it might be a good thing for Towns to be the third option. I'm not saying it's going to work like that, but salute to my man Mike from PA. He was the first one to kind of mention second option. I never thought about OG Anunoby as a second option. I thought him as a third option, but second option, I mean, he's looking damn good in a row. I'll tell you that much. But the last thing I want to touch on OG, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit more later, but right here, this statement right here, are y'all backing that? And I did do a poll in Word on the Street. We'll get to that a little bit later, where I asked you guys how you felt about this. The only problem with the defensive player of the year, I think he's going to make All-NBA defensive team. First or second, I don't know. Only problem with defensive player of the year is he don't have the numbers. Defensive rating. What's this other defensive EPM? I'm not an advanced stat dude. I'm not. Some of the stats like defensive rating, offensive rating, fine. Those are cool. Plus, minus, on, off, Those are cool. Some of the advanced stats I rock with, and I use it in the Knicks and 10 show. But some of this other EPM stuff, I don't care. I think that you got to watch the games. Can't be a box score warrior. Because if you're a box score warrior, you're not going to see the nuances of basketball, right? Draymond Green, I try to watch as many Warriors games as I can. I need to see why he thinks he's Defensive Player of the Year. I don't really see it. I think that he's been making noise since the Jimmy Butler trade. But prior to that, no one was talking about Draymond Green and the Defensive Player of the Year award. I just don't see it. I'm going to keep it real. I'm the objective fan. To me, Mobley, I think, deserves Defensive Player of the Year. The way he protects the paint for Cleveland, does a lot of the dirty work. Listen, I don't like Cleveland. You guys know that's the ops. But I got to keep it real. I think Mobley, to me, especially, his defense helps spearheads what Cleveland is doing. I think he deserves Defensive Player of the Year. But I do think that OG has an argument to be in the top, 5 at least, or definitely All-NBA defensive second team at the bottom. But top 5, he's guarding the most dynamic wings. Of course, Mikal was getting the point guard mostly. But everybody else besides the point guards, OG and Anunoby guards, right? And we seen him on Booker the other night, right? Last night. And Booker, Booker had a great game. I mean, it's going to be hard to stop Booker, especially when there's nobody else to shoot on the Phoenix, right? Bill didn't start playing to the fourth quarter. But this man right here, for him to guard Booker and then still put up 30, that's impressive, bro. Not too many dudes is doing that. Not even Kawhi is doing that right now. Kawhi is not guarding the opposing team's best player. They got the Dunn kid that does that. And even Powell, to me, takes more of the tougher assignments. Now, sometimes Kawhi will switch. I got it. But most of the time, that's the young boy Dunn's assignment. Dunn, he gets the tougher assignments. And Powell also gets some tough assignments, too. But then they'll mix and match. I mean, the Clippers are a very good defensive team. Very good defensive team. Still Knicks fan says he agrees with me. You got to watch the game. Salute to Still Knicks fans. Yeah, you got to watch the games. This is what kills me, right? Still Knicks fans, right? I was kind of half watching Gil's Arena. Sometimes I like to watch certain basketball podcasts. Gil's Arena is one of the ones I watch kind of consistently. They asked Kenyon Martin about the Warriors game last night, right? He goes, when they asking him about the defense, because Houston shut Steph down, 3 points, whatever, right? So they asked him, they said, hey, what do you think about Houston's defense on Steph? You know what this guy says? I have to go and watch the game to see the shot selection. I'm like, dude, you're on a show talking about basketball. You don't watch the game? But they think because they're former NBA players, that's a substitute for not watching the games. Then Rashard McCants goes, well, I could tell you because I watched the game. So, you got to watch the games. You just can't get on there and talk sports, right? I try to watch 2 games a night, at least at the minimum. And then sometimes I watch the Knicks twice. Crimes Dad said we need to leave Jalen Brown alone like they leave Hart alone on the 3-point line. The only problem with that theory, Crimes Dad, is that Jalen Brown is looking to attack. He's not looking to settle for threes. Jalen Brown is looking to attack, period. That's what his job is. He is attacking. He is not he's not content on taking it. Yeah, of course he'll shoot it, but he's looking to attack. Yuri says, why do I got a funny feeling that the Knicks about it going to run in the playoffs? Yo, honestly, I think if OG's playing the way he's playing, it's very, very possible. It's very, very possible, for real. See what else you guys talking about. OG a better spot of shooting than Kawhi? Yeah, because Kawhi, to me, is not a 3-point shooter, especially if you're talking about below the break. I don't think that's Kawhi's game. He can shoot it. But yeah, Kawhi is more of a mid-range threat. But I do agree. I think OG's a better spot of shooter because Kawhi is used to create for himself, to be honest. That's a good point. Yes, JJ, congrats to Melo. Don't listen to Crimes Dad, okay? Do not listen to Crimes Dad. Do not do it. I'm going to move on. I'm going to jump into Brunson. Brunson's triumphant return. And the reason why I say that Brunson's return is triumphant is because he looks good. Like, I'm watching the game, right? And I'm like, oh boy, is Brunson still playing hurt because he wants to get this award? You know, what's going on? But I should have realized that these guys, they're not going to trick it off just to get awards. Brunson would not have came back if he was not 100%. The plus to me, Brunson was 100% health-wise. Now, he's rusty. That's cool. These last... Hold on. Who we got next? We got Boston, right? Brunson's going to kill that Boston game. All he needed was this one game to get the bum juice out. All right? Whatever bum juice that exists in Jalen Brunson's world, he needed one game. And that's why I feel like it was important for him to come back before the playoffs. Imagine this game 1 in the postseason. Jalen Brunson comes out, he only has 9 points. That's not a good look. So this is why him coming back now, very, very important to me. And I think he's going to go off in the Boston game. I just got a feeling that he's going to go off. There's no lingering injuries, and there's no minutes restriction, I don't think. I don't think there's no minute. Let me see. Let me see. Practice. He practiced full practice. You know what I could do? Let's go to the Suns game. I'm gonna pull up the Suns game. He hit that key 3 in the game, which lets me know, like, oh yeah, he's there. Cap is there. You know what I felt like he was doing in the Suns game? I felt like he was kind of deferring a little bit more than you're used to seeing Brunson do, because these guys been rolling. The Knicks have been rolling, and even though you're the best player on the team, you can't just come back and be like, all right, let me take 30 shots. You know, like, let me take all of these shots. I got to do it within the flow of the game. He only took 9 shots. That's what I wanted to see. 9 shots. Of course, 3 of 9 from the field, not efficient, but 8 of 10 from the free throw line. He was getting to the line for sure. 6 assists. Not bad. Not mad at it. 3 turnovers. Okay, first game back. He looks good, y'all. Health-wise, no issues. Turnarounds, dribble. You just got to get the rust off. When you set out for a month and you miss 15 games, it might take you a game or two. When you're the captain's caliber player, yeah, it's going to take him a little while to get back to where he needs to be. But I'm not concerned. Oh, I think I see Mike in PA. Let me see. Salute to Mike from PA. I see you in there. He says Brunson sees what the other guys have been doing, so he's happy to defer. Facts. Yeah, that's just smart. All right, so here's another thing too. Brunson, this team led by Brunson, to me, is probably one of the most unselfish teams I've ever seen. Like, when you really think about it, when you look at the starting 5, there's no egos there. Like, there's no, I got to get the bucket, give me the ball. It's, we're all in this together. We're going to move the ball. Like, even the superstar, like Towns is like, yo, I can play with any, like, I never was tripping off his stats and what I need for myself personally. I've always been a team guy since the Kentucky days. That's just who Towns is. And I think Leon Rose, once again, he deserves GM of the year, because when you look at chemistry and how this team plays together, they're all in. That's why when they try to make up these little narratives of, oh, Josh Hart was talking about egos, who he's talking about, I'm like, yo, I immediately just debunked it right there. I said, man, look, this team ain't got an ego problem. I'm not in the locker room, and I don't even need to be in the locker room to know that. The way these guys mentality. OG Anunoby told you, he said, look, I just need my money. That's it. I don't care if I average 2 points a game. You're gonna pay me my 212. I need my 200 million. That's all you heard from OG Anunoby. And now look at him. He's making the $212 million look like it's a discount. So Cap, it's just a perfect balance of guys. I do think next year there may be some tweaks. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you just run it back with the same crew with, a new addition, of course. Well, you could run it back with the same crew. Is Mitchell Robinson's days number? I don't know. Sometimes he looks good. Sometimes, it's hard too for Mitchell Robinson when you're a starter, you're coming off the bench, and you're not really given the consistent minutes because he's been on minutes restriction for the longest. Now, I would have thought minutes restriction would have ended. Because from what I read in the reports, Mitchell Robinson, hasn't had any lingering nothing. Like, he's completely healed from his injury. So him getting 13 minutes, I don't know. And it also shows me that I don't think Thibs is that confident in the double big lineup because you didn't really see it much in this game. But yeah, captain to me looks good. Captain to me looks good. Yuri says, let's get Dante back. Won't happen, my brother. Won't happen. Salute the Anagrill in the building. Kawhi is a midi assassin. Facts. OG is a spot shooter who's now attacking closeouts and getting better in mid-range. Man, listen, Anagrill, OG's doing it everywhere. Mid-range, slashing directly to the basket, off the dribble, off the bounce, taking dudes off the dribble, driving into the basket. He can still hit the spot up corner threes. He's doing it in a variety of ways. Where we at on time? I think I'm gonna jump in the flash. There's a couple of more hot topics I do want to get to. I'm gonna try to get to them a little later. Oh, you know what? I'll jump into the minutes before I get to the flagship. Then we go into the flagship topic, which is Coach Thibs. By the way, these are the topics here. Coach Thibs, top 3 all time. OG, will his powers continue? We just talked about that. We talked about Brunson's return. We got to get to too many minutes. That's what we're going to talk about now. So we pretty much hit a lot of the topics, but we did not talk about flagship topic just yet. And like I said, I do got the link to the playoff watch party is going down. We will be watching the playoff game in Queens. Hold on, let me get the exact. Hold on, let me continue the site because I could never remember the name of the place. Okay, it's called Q Bar. So we're going to be going to Q Bar in Queens. That's 4518 Bell Boulevard, Bayside, New York. That's where we will be. Now, we don't know the exact day because the NBA hasn't released the schedule. We do know it will be the 19th or the 20th. So once we get that exact day, I'll put that on the registration form and I'll create a flyer so that way we can share it and try to get as many people as we can. And I would love to watch the game with you guys. Got a couple people coming out for sure. That's already confirmed. So just make sure you click that link if you do want to watch the game with me and a couple of other people from the community. All right. Now, let me jump out of there. Let me go back in the research mode. Cool. Let me let's talk about minutes because you know what, guys? I'm gonna talk about minutes and then I'm gonna share something that Yuri sent me in the Discord server. And I'll tell you how to get in this Discord server on the next announcement as well. But Yuri put some good information in the Discord server that I want to touch on, but I want to touch on the minutes. Right? Now we all know that OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Bridges are like in the top 5 or something like that in minutes. And we haven't seen this much production from that many starters before. But Coach Thibs says, hey, we try to keep them matched up with the other wings. So that's why they're playing 37 minutes. You know, if you're playing against Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, he used those guys as an example. Of course, Josh Hart, Bridges, their minutes going to be up because that's mostly who their assignments are. Even though OG Anunoby gets the Jason Tatum assignment, but we kind of get the gist of what Coach Thibs is trying to say, right? Now, Josh Hart, he loves the minutes, right? Josh Hart says he found the best fit of his career with the starters. And a coach he's learned to adore. This situation fits me perfectly like a glove. I don't know if they're going to change the starting lineup, y'all. I just don't see it. Not this season, maybe next year. But Josh Hart seems to be very comfortable with starting. And I can't cap. He looks good. I mean, it looks good. Of course, they were making a big deal about Mikal Bridges' comments that kind of was taken out of context. I mean, we talked about that on a couple of different shows. Mikal Bridges did not go independently to Coach Thibs to tell him, oh, yeah, you're playing me too many minutes. That's not how it was. It was just like in passing conversation, okay? But the minutes have gone up. However, the one thing about the minutes, and you know what, best way I could show this, I'm going to go to Basketball Reference, right? So we know Jalen Brunson's back. More than likely, he's going to play 65 games. And it's a beautiful thing. So if Jalen Brunson plays, the 65 games, that means all 5 starters would play 65 games. The other 4 starters are in the 70s. Towns, OG Anunoby, our 2 most, well, no, Mitch is the most injury-prone person, but Towns and OG has had their fair share of injuries. People were worried about them. But Josh Hart, 75 games. Mikal Bridges, 70. He's the Iron Man. He's not missing no games. Mikal Bridges, he is the minutes leader, technically, 37.6. Minutes have gone up recently. We're seeing Mikal get more minutes. But there hasn't been any complaints, which is great. No real injuries to these guys. Who has been injured really has been the bench, but that had nothing to do with guys being burnt out. I mean, the bench doesn't get burnt out. We know that, Mitchell Robinson had some complications, had a long layoff or a long return off an injury. We know that Landry Shamet dislocated his shoulder. We know Precious Achiuwa was supposed to be out for 2 to 4 weeks, wound up being out for damn near 2 months. Deuce has been battling hammies and all different types of injuries, right? So that has nothing to do with minutes being burnt out, but because our bench has been depleted for most of the season, guys that he trusts. I know a lot of you guys going to say, well, he could have played Kolek more. Kolek only played 40 games, 7 minutes a game, right? But Bacone Dadier only appeared in 17 games. Who else is Matt Ryan, Jacob Toppin no longer here. Kevin McCullough just came back, played in 3 games, right? So why wasn't he utilizing the bench guys? Ariel played 25 minutes, struggled to get time because Jericho Sims was there. Jericho Sims played 39 minutes. So the bench, Thibs, he has his ideals for what he feels the bench should be. And that's just what it is. He's only playing the guys that he trusts. Sorry. And I can't stand when he goes to the 8-man rotation. But it is what it is. But I do want to share this. So Yuri posted this in the Discord server. He said that we got this guy right here. Medical guru led the Knicks to the best health in the NBA. So despite being burnt out, minutes, and guys, we got the best health. Guys are not missing times. He spent time with the Mavericks, right? And then his role was reduced. He was fired, or let go, or he left. 2023, right? So I'm gonna keep it going. This is just telling a story about who this guy is. In June 2024, the Knicks hired Smith as the VP of sports medicine, right? This dude is a serious dude, right? And of course, like they link him to the Luka trade because they let him go and something with Luka. Okay, cool. Now Smith is the Knicks, and they're the healthiest team they've been in years. Facts. First off, this man alone right here, when you look at his career, right? Incredible. Incredible. And I'm going to pull it up. OG Anunoby. Okay. So he's on the verge of playing the most games he's ever played in since rookie year, 74. He's going to surpass this mark. He's currently at 72 games. Big time difference. Playing a lot of minutes, but doesn't look burnt out. Going hard every game. Still has the, I mean, look at the pace he's been playing at the last 20 games. Incredible. Right? So it's good that they use his photo here. But look at this. Check this out. Let me see if I can blow this up. If I could blow this up, hold on. You guys need to see this chart. Hold on. Zoom in a little bit. Hopefully that's a little clearer. But you can see right here, mouse. If you can't see it, I'm just going to read it out. Knicks of 30th, right? In missed games. So Dallas, they've had the most misses, 296. The Knicks is all the way down to 153. That's the least misses in the NBA. In fact, it's like 90 less games than the second place team, which is the Minnesota Timberwolves, believe it or not. So we're seeing one of the most healthiest teams, right? Because of this guy. They believe this sports medicine guy, Casey Smith, he's the man behind the health of the Knicks. So just want to add that to the Menace Police. We got one of the healthiest teams in the league. What do you have to say to that? Now I'm going to jump into flagship. Facts, I knew that trainer was going to make a difference. He's highly touted throughout the NBA. Facts, Knicks, still Knicks fans. Yeah, he definitely making an impact. I think that the Knicks has consistently had one of the best training staffs, but this year they took it up to a whole nother level, bringing this dude in. This dude is a serious dude. Darlene Bryan, I think Hart is very comfortable in the starting lineup. I would keep it like this for this year. Yeah, facts, Darlene. I don't think that you make the change right now. I don't think that that's smart. And like Knicks Will Be Champ says, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit the bell button so that way you get all the notifications. And if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. Let me see. Green said that the Clutch Player of the Award does not require the 65 games, so maybe Brunson's gunning for another award as well as like All NBA. Yeah, that's what it is. It's All NBA. All NBA is on the line. Yes, the Clutch Player. I don't know why the Clutch Player of the Year award does not have the requirement. Very weird. Don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm going to jump into flagship though. Now, once again, guys, I told you this is going to be the OG Anunoby and Coach Thibs show, and it continues. So we're going to talk about Coach Thibs' flagship topic, top 3 coach all time. Now I have something that I can't put on the screen, but I'm gonna start out with that. And you know what? I'm gonna put this on the screen too. This man, Coach Thibs, is probably the best win. Yeah, well, he definitely stat wise, he's the most winningest coach. He has the highest win percentage of coaches that never reach the finals. 58%. That's the highest. Big time salute to Coach Thibs. I told y'all before in a previous episode that I believe that Coach Thibs is the NBA's version of Andy Reid. What do I mean by that? Andy Reid took a while. He's been in the NFL for a minute, went to the Super Bowl, lost, and he definitely received a lot of criticism for not being able to get the job done. He was with the Kansas City Chiefs 8 years, 7 to 8 years before they won the championship. And a lot of people, like a lot of you guys in the chat, you know, the anti-Thibs hive, they were calling for his head. He can't win. Why is he still there? Get rid of the man. And guess what? He wins the championship and then wins 3 more. Due to, of course, the great Patrick Mahomes. We don't got a Patrick Mahomes, but we got a Jalen Brunson and a Carl Anthony Towns that are more than capable of getting the job done and getting the wins. You got OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, who I still think is the best offensive rebounder in basketball. If he gets the opportunity to show you, is to show you. You got Deuce McBride, right? Landry Shaman, who revitalized his career. I mean, I think the bench is solid. I don't think we have a weak bench, right? And then I didn't talk about it in the minutes segment, but I think they said that the bench usage is the lowest in NBA history. And the last time we seen this low bench utilization went back to like the 80s, a Celtic team in the 80s, who won the championship, by the way. But anyway, I digress. Bottom line is, Coach Thibs, he is that dude. He is that guy. So to my fire Thibs people, why are you going to fire him for a coach that is not going to have the success that he has. You're going to just bet on potential? Yes, it could work out. Maybe you get a Kenny Atkinson. Maybe you don't. I'm telling you right now, Kenny Atkinsons don't just grow on trees. Kenny Atkinson is not as simple as, okay, fire Thibs and hire Kenny Atkinson. Like, that's not, Kenny Atkinson might be one of the greatest coaches of all time for all we know. Give him 10 years. If the Cavs win 6 championships, he might go down as one of the greatest coaches ever. Who knows? But you're not going to find those on trees. And Coach Thibs, I talked about some of the accolades already. Like I said, this is a Coach Thibs show. Okay, first time we got 50 wins 2 years in a row since 1995. How do you argue with that level of success? This is not a low point. First time we reached 40 wins, biggest record, best record heading into an all-star break since 1997. I mean, he's doing a lot of things that never been done, and he's the best at doing whatever. He's doing a lot of that. This is the wrong time to talk about Coach Thibs, fire Coach Thibs, right? So check this out. On the day Leon Rose was hired, the Knicks were 18-42. New York lost more games over the first 2 decades of the 21st century than any team in the NBA. As of this evening, New York has won 50-plus games back-to-back season. Okay, make sure Leon, West, Brock, and I'm going to add Coach Thibs get their flowers. Tommy Beard, he tweeted that on X. What do you want to return to? Do you want to return to, hold on, before I get to the list of coaches, do you want to return to this? I think I know what you guys want to return to. As I get it up on Basketball Reference, I think this is what like sometimes us as Knicks fans, we suffer for a long time. I go back to the 90s, so I understand what suffering with the Knicks is like. And I think some of you guys are just addicted to suffering. So look, Tom Thibodeau 2021, okay? You go back before him. I just talked about Dave Fizdale. He's the coach when we went 21-45. Okay, cool. 1765, 2953. This is all before Coach Thibs. You guys know that. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Mike Woodson came, had a couple of good, decent years under Woodson and D'Antoni. Mostly bad, but a couple of good years when Melo got there in between the Melos and the early 2000 Knicks team, right? But look at the early 2000 Knicks team. This is what you want to go back to, 23 to 33. Right, different coach. So you had 4 years of D'Antoni, 2 more years of Woodson. That's the only real consistency you see in coaching. Derek Fisher, 2 years, terrible. Jeff Hornacek, 2 years, terrible. Dave Fizdale, 2 years, terrible. Salute to Isaiah Thomas, 2 years, terrible. Larry Brown, 1 year, terrible. Larry Brown had enough sense to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm up out of here. We can't do this. Lenny Wilkins, 1 year, terrible. This is what it has been. Coach Thibs moved into 4th place all-time winningest coach. This is the all-time winningest coach, okay? Right behind Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy, your record is up next year. Now, will he catch Joe Lapchak? But I think he could catch Joe Lapchak. But will he catch Red Holzman? No. Red Holzman is the greatest of all time. I don't think no one catches him. I mean, it'll be up to Thibs and the Knicks' success for him to get the 10 years. I don't know. But I could see Thibs stepping down, going into the front office, I could see that happening before he gets anywhere near 14 years. But I'm going to say this, and this is no offense to Joe Lapchak. No offense to you, brother. I don't go back to 48, 56. Don't know, the nature of the game at that point. I outside of what you could read on a wiki, I don't really know what happened during those eras like that. But Also, Joe, I'm gonna put you in your own category. Like that's like the beginning of basketball, right? So I'm not even gonna count Joe because I feel like that's like pre-modern era. So Joe can stay back there. I'm gonna say from 1968 to now, I'm taking Coach Thibs as the third best. And to be honest, he's creeping up on Jeff. The only thing Jeff has over Coach Thibs is more wins and the finals. Now, Pat Riley, the guy who's on the thumbnail. I'm gonna salute Riley because Riley was the architect for what we see today and what we saw in the 90s. That tough, gritty style, Riley put that in there. That was Riley's doing. And of course, the Knicks had some of the ingredients already, right? They had Ewing. They had some of the players they had prior to Riley got there. So you already knew you had a big man. This was a big man's team, so you had to play tough. Outside of LA when he was there, well, LA was already established before Riley got there. But you had Magic Johnson kind of really dictating the pace and the style. Even though Kareem was the best player, it still was like Magic was the engine to that team. So it was a flashy offense, fast-paced style. New York is gritty, slow. Ewing is your best player. I don't like that they moved off of Mark Jackson. I don't like it because he wanted to get bigger guards, and I get it. But I just felt like you could have just had some bullies around Mark because Ewing is the ultimate rim protector. But Riley, I got to give him credit for that. The reason why I put Thibs over Riley is because of the way Riley left us. And I really do believe in my heart, mind, body, and soul that Riley, he pretty much gave up on us before his tenure was over. I feel like his heart wasn't in it. I felt like he wanted to leave because they didn't give him what he wanted. Ownership, that is. Then he wanted part ownership, and the Knicks just couldn't do it. So because of that, I felt like he was just planning his escape. And to me, even though he hasn't been to the finals yet, Coach Thibs, he has gotten his second contract. That's something that Riley did not do. Yes, the argument, I know some of you guys are going to say, well, Thibs took an extra season to pass him in wins. But let's keep it real. Riley had a better team than Coach Thibs. Come on, you had Patrick Ewing coming. You had Patrick Ewing in his prime. Could you imagine Coach Thibs coaching Patrick Ewing? I'm just saying, the team was better, right? The talent Riley had was better. Now, yes, that bald-headed dude out of Chicago, if he never existed, Riley probably would have got them a championship. Riley probably would have got, because you seen what happened when Riley wasn't there. When the bald-headed guy wasn't there. Knicks went to the finals. We still lost. Whose fault is it? Was it misfortune? We did a show on that. Salute to still Knicks fans if you still here. We did a show on that. And it is what it is. But Riley, to me, had better talent than Thibs. And so I just want to take away that argument that, he did it in 5 years as opposed to Riley's 4 years. Don't matter. He still got there, and he's still here. And he didn't just flat leave us. So because of that, that's the only reason why I'm putting Thibs ahead of Riley. Of course, like I said, I'm giving Riley the credit. He's the archetype for what we got here. But I think that another key thing, this year is not over. This year is not over. Hold on, y'all. Am I still here? My soundboard died. So we good, though. We still here. We good. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, Riley, you know, he left us, and Thibs is still here, and Thibs can actually do something this season. This season is not over. Look, the Celtics are the favorite, but they are not invincible. There's no team going into this playoff. We've seen what happened with the Thunder, right? We've seen the Thunder lose some games. You like, damn, I seen with Minnesota dog walk OKC. They dog. So now, hold on. Since we here, let's just have some fun. Right? Going into this playoffs, the reason why I am not counting the Knicks out is, anything can, I'm in hockey. What am I doing in hockey? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Look at these matchups. Let's say OKC gets Minnesota in the first round. OKC is the favorite. But I watched Minnesota dog walk OKC during the regular season. Would you be surprised if Minnesota beat OKC? Maybe you'll be surprised. Would you be shocked? Houston Rockets number 2 seed, playing well, playing phenomenal, right? 52 wins. 4th best record in the league, right? Okay. If the Houston Rockets lost to let's say Golden State falls to that 7th seed, and I hope they don't because I got that bet. Oh, God. Anyway, let's say Golden State goes to the 7th seed, and they got the Houston Rockets. I know they beat them the other day, but this is the 7-game series with Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green. It's a little different from regular season. I know they lost, right? But if Golden State were to beat Houston, would you be surprised? Lakers right now are the 3rd seed. If the Nuggets just so happen to fall to the 6th seed, and the Nuggets and the Lakers are battling in the first round, the Nuggets have been beating the Lakers. I don't even want to ask that question. The point that I'm saying is that when I take it to the East Coast, to me, Indiana is a threat to Cleveland. I think the Knicks could be a threat to Boston. I don't think nothing is just, written in stone. I think there's going to be a lot of upsets. And I'm riding with the Knicks. I think that we can really make some noise. Yeah. What do you guys think? Let me see what you guys talking about. Oh, yeah. Still Knick fan says, yes, that was a dope show. Facts. And agree with Riley. Riley is why we lost 317 starts. Oh, my God, Anna Grill. Oh, my God. I didn't even want to go there. Right? Because I wasn't trying to necessarily beat Riley up. I was really just making my case to show why I put Thibs ahead of Riley. The only thing he really did, the 2 things that he did over Thibs, took us to the finals. But of course, that's when the ball-headed guy out of Chicago. Okay, cool. Look, put it like this. If Jason Tatum, God forbid this, I don't wish this on him, but let's say he gets a season-ending injury. And now we got to go up against the Boston Celtics. You don't think we could beat them? That's what happened. Patrick Ewing and the boys beat up a Chicago Bulls team without Michael Jordan. He went to go play baseball. So if Coach Thibs had Boston, if they, God forget, like I said, I don't wish that on Tatum at all. I want them to be completely healthy. I want everybody completely healthy. I want to beat them fair and square. But I'm just saying, if you take the best player off of the best team, of course you'll beat them. To me, Jeff Van Gundy's finals run was more impressive than Riley's, even though you can argue that Jordan wasn't there either. You can argue for Jeff Van Gundy's run, he didn't go through Jordan. Okay, that's fair. All I'm saying is that the finals, and because he created the whole New York gritty grind. That kind of started with Rowley. It might have existed a little bit before Rowley. Like I said, Ewing was always that guy, but he really took it up to a whole nother notch. Outside of that, Coach Thibs, to me, over Rowley. Juan B players are a different story for all teams. Facts is either experience, it's talent, coaching, it's everything. All different narratives go into play with any team. Facts. And Juan, that's what I'm trying to say. We can't be so negative. Oh man, we got 50 wins, but we won't win in the play. You don't know. The playoffs has to happen. I've never seen the Knicks break so much history, but people are feeling so negative about the postseason. It just really it. I don't know. This is crazy. Crazy to me. See what else you guys talking about. Yuri said, yo, Mavs, thank you for giving us Cassidy. He's been keeping things healthy. Fact. Everyone picking Detroit. Yeah, you know what? I was going to go in. I got no smoke of the week, JJ, but I was going to go at Udonis Haslem as a throwback smoke of the week. But because nothing really happened this week for me to challenge it, yeah, I think that whoever's picking Detroit, if I start to see some Detroit, because maybe it'll crystallize that we're going to see them in the first round. So if I do see somebody picking Detroit again, I'm definitely going for their head, because there's no direct correlation between regular season success and the playoffs. Like Juan says, those teams, those playing teams as well, don't sleep. Facts. There's going to be some teams that just get over the hump and show they can beat a better team. Fact. And that's what I'm saying. Minnesota, the way they beat OKC, when they beat them, it makes me feel like, and like I said, there's no direct correlation, but what I'm saying is, if the playoffs happen, if Minnesota got the win, it wouldn't be surprising. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, we can't sleep on nobody. Even us, I'm not sleeping on the Pistons. I just think we're going to beat them, right? I think we're going to beat them or Milwaukee, because I think Indiana kind of locked up the 4th seed. But I honestly don't think that either team, especially Milwaukee without Dame, it's going to be tough for them to beat us, because now that's one less guy that we have to worry about, and we could really put all our defensive energy into stopping Giannis. And then we got a guy in OG Anunoby that can play him single coverage at the top of the key. Top of the key. Not going downhill, not in the post, even though Giannis is not that much of a post threat, but at the top of the key, OG Anunoby can guard him one-on-one. Now, if he gets by OG, right? If he gets by OG, we're going to have to bring the help. But at the top of the key, I am more than comfortable with OG Anunoby. Crimes Dad said, you're still live. Crimes Dad, you got to stop. Melo is the greatest, Crimes Dad. He's the greatest. He doesn't like Melo. I'm going to move to the next topic. I think I talked about the Coach Thibs enough. I'm going to jump into comment of the week, because I do got to get going. So comment of the week, right? So this is a comment from YouTube. One Shot D. Salute to One Shot D. You are the comment of the week. Let me see. So basically, he was commenting on the poll I asked that I'm going to get to in a second in Word on the Street, basically asking if OG Anunoby should be the second option. So One Shot says, OG don't have second option type game. He's good as a third, fourth option, because then teams don't really get the key in on him. If you make him play second option, he would get exposed immediately. Let me just pause it right there. So One Shot, I completely disagree. First off, Jalen Brunson is the captain who runs the show. He gets all of the attention. Just look at how Phoenix was guarding Jalen Brunson yesterday. And Jalen Brunson has been on injury, right, for 15 games. And they guarded him like he just put up 50. Jalen Brunson gets all of the energy. Towns now he's drawing the power forward assignment. And I don't think the power forward assignment is that successful anymore, because as long as Towns is the only big man on the floor, they've created wrinkles for Towns to still exploit that smaller guy. Right? Because the spacing is still there. So he don't have a guy like Mitch clogging the driving lanes. But he's been driving on these power forwards too. Right? So the power forward adjustment hasn't really, I don't think, really worked. I think sometimes Towns just doesn't play well. He's not playing his. In fact, I just was I got the numbers right here. So there's a stat where when Towns gets more than 27 points, the Knicks record is 18-4. But check this out. I'm sorry, 19-4. Hold on. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting I could do that. I could make the image on the screen like that. But anyway, no, I'm wrong. It's 19-5. The Knicks are 9. So when Towns gets 27 points or more, they're 19-5. Okay, cool. But for the majority of the games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 out of the last, like, I would say 10 to 15 games, Towns hasn't been scoring that much. He's been scoring under 27-point mark. Right? So I think part of the reason is just OG has been emerging as one of the better options on this team. That's one. Two, I just think Towns, he doesn't have the greatest shooting nights. And sometimes he gets into foul trouble. That right there kills Towns' game. The foul trouble is a problem. So because Towns is still going to be Towns, Brunson is still going to be Brunson, teams are not going to be able to key on OG Anunoby. Towns naturally is getting power forwards now, right? He's getting the best big man defender or a really good forward defender because they're trying to guard Towns like he's a forward. And then Brunson's still getting the Dyson Daniels. So if you use Atlanta, for example, right? So Atlanta, they got Dyson Daniels as their best defender. They got Ricochet, and I can't remember who's the power forward right now. They got another forward. Whoever that is, I think Gay or something. I don't know. Either way, that guy he's a non-factor. They can guard Towns with Okongwu, but sometimes they put the other guy on Towns, right? Zachary Ricochet, he's a rookie. He's going to get killed either way. But now Dyson Daniels has to guard Jalen Brunson. He cannot guard OG. So I disagree with that, okay? Then he also says he's doing it against bottom feeding teams. Against great teams, he averages 12 to 18 points. Got to look at the context, Brody. I disagree with that as well. It has nothing to do with weak teams, strong teams. It has nothing to do with that. And you know what? Let me see if I got OG. Hold on. Let me get OG. I'm going to get his game logs so we could actually look at what's going on. Now, yes, we had a lighter stretch in terms of the teams we've been playing recently haven't been like world class, but I think that OG Anunoby does what he does against anybody because more than likely he's not getting the better defender on the opposing team. He's getting the guy who's the third best defender. He's not getting the top tier defender. But I do want to say, when we look at the stats, he dropped 28 points against the LA Clippers. We know that's the second ranked defense, and that was against Kawhi and those guys. Just saying. Okay, who else is a good defense that we played? He had 20 against the Lakers ain't got good defense. He had 29 against the Warriors, who were playing really good defense with Jimmy, right? Who else? He had 19 against Memphis, but I think that was a blowout win. Let me see. So we got the Clippers. Who else is a good team? I'm trying to think good defensive teams. He didn't play against Boston. This game, he had 10 points against Boston. But remember, he came back off an injury. And he guarded Jason Tatum. And at this point in time, OG Anunoby wasn't a focal point in the offense. It actually didn't start till a couple of games after that. Once this Memphis 19-point game happened, that's when he started going on the run with the 20 balls, 23, 29, 20, 11, but then 24, 23, 23, 19, 14. So it has nothing to do with who he's playing against because he did it against the Clippers, right? He did it against Golden State. So what are we saying? What are we saying? Let me see if there's anything else in this comment. But 12 to 18 points is what he averages on the year, though. You know, that's what he was averaging. He's recently has gone up, but we got Boston on Tuesday. Let's see what he does. But once again, you can't even count that because Boston probably won't even play their guys. So it's like, you damn if you do, damn if you don't. But that's the comment of the week I just want to touch on. I think OG Anunoby could be a second option. More than likely he won't be, but he could be. Let me keep it moving. Me go to, I did comment, no smoke of the week. But we do got a Knick of the week. Hold on, before I go to Knick of the week, I gotta do my Knick of the week properly, man. I gotta make sure because my soundboard died, but it's cool because I do got it on the monitor. So we're gonna do it like this. Okay, so this week's Knick of the week is none other than who you guys think is gonna be. Of course, OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby, he once again is the Knick of the week. I'm going to give a big time New York City salute to OG Anunoby. He averaged 26.5 points, 56% from the field, 51% from three. This guy's balling out of control. I mean, this is what we need going into the postseason. We need an OG Anunoby that can guard Devin Booker and still put up 30. I'm telling you, that right there is the most impressive thing about that game. I don't care that Booker scored 30, right? I care that he also scored 30. He said, look, you're going to get 30, I'm going to get 32, and I'm going to make everybody else's life easier because I'm guarding Devin Booker. It wasn't until the fourth quarter before Bradley Beal got it going. I think OG Anunoby is phenomenal. I think that he's hella impressive. 32 points against Phoenix, 27 against Philly, 24 against the Hawks. Like I said, he's just in his bag. Like I told you, this is an OG Anunoby and Coach Thibs show. And this is why, because he is the Knick of the week. Big time salute to OG Anunoby. I'm going to jump in the word on the street. And then Power Rankings, we out of here, man. Definitely want to give a big time salute to everyone that's still watching the show. And I do got something I want to share with you guys before I jump right into word on the street. I want to share with you guys, I keep talking about the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. That's a Discord server that we have for our channel members that join the channel. So when you click the join button and you join this channel, we have two packages, Starter Knicks fan, Hardcore Knicks fan. I'm only going to talk about the Starter Knicks fan package because I feel like it's a great place to start if you're not a member. Now, each one of these memberships come with access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, 24/7 Knicks chat, 24/7 NBA chat, 24/7 NFL chat, so many different chat. We talk about everything in there. We got a 24/7 other sports chat, 24/7 fight fans only chat. Listen, man, this is a great place to talk to level-headed Knicks fans. I'm in there. It's a great way to have access to me. I'm always throwing stuff up in there. Salute to Yuri. Salute to everybody else that partakes into Discord, the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, right? A lot goes on in there. A lot of good information. And yeah, that's one of the things you get when you join the channel, right? Of course, I do members only shows. We have Parlay Sundays, though I couldn't do this Sunday, but Parlay Sunday is a members only show that I do where we try to hit these picks together, parlays. Another show that we do is the After Midnight stream. I open it up to the public, but that really is a members only show, right? We also got priority replies, the comments. So anytime I see a member comments in this chat or on one of the polls, because I try to do daily polls or anywhere else, I always look for my members first because you guys support the channel. So I always look out for you guys. Also, of course, members get shouted out all the time. You know how I do. I always show love on this channel. And of course, discount on the merch. And more merch is definitely on the way. But that's what you get when you join this channel. So, like I said, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon. Hit the like button, everybody. Right? So more cool Knicks fans get access to this video. And of course, if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. All right, so I'm going to jump into word on the street. Now, word on the street is this. We're going to start with some of these polls that I did. I think I only did a couple. All right, cool. So Here's the question that sparked the last video I did. By the way, go watch that Brunson video I did too. Where I was answering the question, is he a liability on defense? Some of you guys think that he's a defensive liability. I think it's nonsense. But go watch the clip that I just put up. But that's what this question is pertaining to. Since Jalen Brunson's injury-related absence from the lineup, the Knicks have had the 13th ranked defense in the league. Will his return be a setback for the defense? I'm going to say no. Hell no. 89 votes, 39% say no, 54% say yes. So a lot of you guys honestly think that Jalen Brunson will impact the defense. If you do think that, go watch my video. If you don't think that, go watch my video that I just dropped talking about Jalen Brunson's defense. All right, should DeLon Wright remain in the rotation when the Knicks get back healthy? I'm going to say yes. I love Campaign. I'm going to say yes. I love Campaign, but to me, DeLon Wright, he's 6'5", plays defense, has the same confidence, will shoot the ball if you need him to. He's 6'5". Yes, he's 6'5". I just like height. Has nothing to do with Campaign as a player and a professional. I think he's amazing. But I just think that DeLon Wright is a little bit more of what we need going into the postseason. But of course, Thibs is going to do what he want to do. 81% of you guys agree. You say yes, that DeLon Wright should be in the rotation, and 16% say no. So a lot of you guys are feeling DeLon Wright. Now, Knicks wing OG Anunoby believes he should be the defensive player of the year. Do you agree? And this was the OG Anunoby show. I'm going to say I don't know. The only reason why I don't know is because I feel like the Mobley kid is a real anchor for Cleveland. Like and of course Allen as well. But the things Mobley can do defensively, to me, might stand out more amongst voters. But I do see the argument for OG Anunoby being first team. I don't know about defensive player of the year, but 80% of you guys think OG Anunoby should be defensive player of the year. So, big time salute to OG Anunoby for getting the sport for the fans. And hey, I'm not knocking it. If he is defensive player of the year, I won't be mad. But I just gotta say I don't know, because I just feel like based off of the looks of it and old media narratives, they're gonna give it to Mobley. I hope they don't give it to Draymond Green. Now, to me, OG Anunoby deserves it more than Draymond Green. I'm just gonna say that off rip. Now, my final part of the show I want to get to is the power rankings. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. This is the first week the first week where I don't agree with the power rankings. The first week, okay? ESPN has been on the money. 25 weeks we've been covering the power rankings. They've been on the money. This week, I feel like they dropped the ball. Now, of course, the usual suspects: Cleveland, OKC #1, right? Boston #3, Houston #4, no problems. Oh, by the way, and the date on this is Wednesday. I think that was the 2nd. Okay, cool. So, Boston, Houston, right? Nuggets is #5, Lakers #6, Golden State #7, Indiana #8. Yeah, they've been playing good ball. Memphis #9. I don't know. Minnesota #10. I don't know. And they got the Knicks. They dropped us from 6 to 11. Now, if you would have got dropped to 10 or 9, I would be all right. But to go to 11, a 5-spot drop, that to me was a little OD, especially when you look at the stretch. So we said Wednesday, April 2nd, right? So Wednesday, April 2nd, let's see. I don't even think the Cleveland game happened yet, because we played Cleveland on the 2nd. So we beat Philly, we beat Portland, we beat Milwaukee. How do they drop us? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Because the Cleveland game don't count yet. You see, it says next game Cleveland. So they dropped us 5 spots. We beat Philly, Portland, and Milwaukee. We did lose to the Clippers, but we beat Dallas and Washington. And the Charlotte and San Antonio debacle took place like 2 weeks prior to this. I don't know, man. I think ESPN deserves a smoke on this one. I think they dropped us too far low, but that's all I got. Let me just read your comments on the way out. Yes, OG is Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, Knicks will be chance. I ain't mad at you. If he keeps this up in the playoffs, he might make a little bit of noise. Okay, Towns commit too many ticky-tack fouls, Darlene says. Yes, I agree. Malik on the Pistons. Worry me in the playoffs. Why? Malik hasn't done nothing in the playoffs, Yuri. I'm going to keep it real. And that's my argument for Detroit. None of their veterans have done anything in the playoffs to make me concerned. Now, could Cade carry what he's doing in the regular season into the playoffs? Possibly, but I don't think that's going to be enough to beat Jalen Brunson. Playoff Brunson is coming, y'all. Be on the lookout for that. Remember what he did last year, right? I know they got the kid Thompson, who's nice. I mean, he's incredible, but your first playoffs, it ain't that easy. Let me see. Darlene says a lot of fans don't have confidence in Thibs in the playoffs. Okay. I could respect that. That's another demerit on Thibs' profile. He has a sub 500 playoff record. But if I'm not mistaken, hold on. Did I close it out? I might have closed it out. Hold on. Let me see if I get back to the list of coaches before we wrap up. All right, cool. So if we look at the playoffs, I'm gonna do it like this. Yeah, so Coach Thibs, oh, okay. So he passed 29 playoff games. He's 14-15. So Coach Thibs has the opportunity to actually go 500. In fact, he will go 500 this season. So Coach Thibs will have the opportunity to go 500. He's only one game sub 500. So, and look, when you look at Rally's just 55% coach winning percentage, right? Jeff Van Gundy, 53%. I mean, Coach Thibs is right there with these guys. These guys who you hold so prolific, Coach Thibs is right under them. Okay? So he's right there. Give Coach Thibs 2 more years, he'll probably have a better percentage than both these guys. So, because I don't see us getting smoked by Boston. I think we could at least get, if we're going to lose to Boston, we're going to at least get 2 wins. I don't see them sweeping us. Like, we're not the Pacers. So, but that's all for this. But I do got to give a big time salute to everybody who showed me some love on this pod. I do got to give a big salute to Darlene. I appreciate you on the stream. Oh, let me get my soundboard. Just got to get the soundboard on the way out. So, New York City, salute to you, Darlene. Salute to Tori. Buzzer beater, I'm glad to see you in the building. Salute to you. Of course, Knicks will be champs 25-26. FS Wisdom. Big time salute to you as well. Salute to Yuri, of course, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel member. Of course, Crimes Dad. Salute to Crimes Dad. Crimes Dad said, remember, I'm the comment of the month. Wait, hold on. When did we start comments of the week? Was I supposed to give a comment of the month for March? I know I gotta do player of the month. That's coming next, but nah, because I think we only did 2 weeks of comment of the week. So comment of the month will start this month. So yeah, Crimes Dad, I don't think you're in the running. Salute to Juan B. Salute to JJ from Brooklyn. Salute to Anna Grill. Of course, salute to Still Knick fans. Definitely, if Still Knick fans, if you're still watching, I think they might be doing Still Knick Fan Weekly tonight. Go check that out. Who else was in? Salute to Tendril. Of course, On Dios, the super mod. Salute to him. I said Knicks will be champs already. Who else was in the building? Salute to everybody that tuned in, man. I do appreciate you guys for tapping out. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Be on the lookout. I'm not going to be able to do the after midnight stream this week, which is the Wednesday night show. The next live show will be the call-up show on Friday. However, I will also be dropping some content in between there and a couple of unfiltered thoughts, some members-only stuff. So members, look out for the members-only content. But yeah, the next live show will be the next call-up show this Friday at 10:45. But that's all I got for you guys. And also, if you guys are interested in going to the playoff watch party, the link is in the chat, right? You can click his RSVP link. We're going to be at the Q Lounge in Queens and Bayside. Definitely, rock out with us, watch the game with us. I'm trying to get an idea who's coming out, so fill out that form. But that's all I got for you guys, right? So until next time, hold on, get my crowd going. So until next time, let's go. Yeah.